Hello guys, and welcome to GA Flying. Today we are in Alaska and we are trying out the new 2024 native version of one of my favorite planes. Actually, when it comes to MSFS2020, it was probably my favorite plane for a time. I was flying it a lot and was really waiting a long time for it to be ported to 2024. What you can see here is a custom livery from Flight SimTO. It's AirPac, so Air Pacific, so a line that in the 80s and 90s was flying in Alaska, or at least trying to. It wasn't really a success story, but it does fit the place where we are at, okay? Actually, to be more specific, we're at Fairbanks, which is pretty much in the middle of Alaska. So let me just maybe here show you where we are. So this is obviously Alaska, here with this tail, right? And pretty much in the middle, we have a pretty big airport here, okay? And this is also our route for today. So we'll be flying from Fairbanks down to Anchorage. And we will be using VOR navigation, so radio navigation that fits kind of the character of the plane. There's also a UNS FMS if somebody prefers it, but I do prefer to fly it like the retro way. Okay, so maybe let's start with the patch notes because there is a lot. Okay, so let me just get this one out of the way and show you what has changed in this last patch, and it's really a lot. Okay, so here we have our patch. There was a small bug with the version 024, so if you got it, there is a newer one that is 024A. Okay, so make sure you have the newest one. Either way, let's talk about the updates. So obviously we do have a pre-flight walk around. We can click at the chocks, GPU, the cargo doors, and open them ourselves. So kind of pretend we are the ground crew, right? Then we have the new EFB, the most modern one from Just Flight, okay? That includes en route charts from Navigraph, which is also pretty cool. There's lots and lots of stuff, so I won't be reading everything. There are no lights on the air stairs, okay, so we cannot see it now because we don't have power, but they are here and look pretty cool. And the addition of 2024 avatars, so those pilot characters, it's actually something that I hate because it means that like for every plane that I'm flying, I have to change the outfit of my pilot, right? Because sometimes it's official when it's like airlines, and sometimes it's private when it's just like a GA flight, right? Bleh. I also had to change it for this one. Okay, so some additional volumetric effects to the lights, rain effects to cabin windows, which is fine because there are some very nice cabin views, lots and lots and lots of stuff, okay? So it's not just porting it to 2024. Here we can see an improved electrical system, even more realistic, okay? Improved air conditioning system. Pretty much every one of those systems was improved for realism, okay? Hydraulic system, fuel system, crazy, and like it's totally free for prior owners, okay? And the important fact is improved flight models and improved pitch stability. Here they are writing that it's like improved in level flight, but actually I also think it's improved during the climb, which I had like the most problems with, that it's pretty much the climb is the most complicated phase in this plane due to how this like pseudo auto throttle works, the TMS, right? And at the same time it was also pretty sensible to violent pitch behaviors, and I didn't see it now when flying it. Okay, and more and more. I will give you a link to this list because it's not obvious how to get it from the Just Flight website, so this will be in the video description. Okay, so as this is a pretty complicated plane, I will use a checklist, and this is actually a checklist from JD, which is a German YouTuber, and I can really recommend his stuff. It's like great work, and he's also basing on some real POH documents, right? So this is a little bit different than what Just Flight was showing during the introductory videos, but I do believe it's also basing like on real life procedures, and it works, right? So I will be using this one. And obviously we also have this pretty thick, over 2000 pages manual for the 146. Okay. And with this, I can show you the plane. So let me just try to move around. Okay, so when it comes to the model, it's pretty much the only thing that is not excellent about this plane, because those finer details are kind of lower risk. And when it comes to the livery, this is actually because of the livery, because the liveries that are official liveries are a little bit more high res. Okay, so at least the parts that are belonging to the livery will be better, but this will stay, right? So as you can see, it's pretty optimized. It's not super high res and doesn't have this like infinite detail that we are used from the most recent releases, but at the same time it's still one of my favorite planes when it comes to how it looks. Okay, if you don't go too close then it will still look great, right? And I just love the plane, and you will see that there's lots and lots of detail. Okay, so the thing that is new is obviously the walk around. You can just walk around here as this avatar, right click on the chocks, click on the doors, and everything will open. But I'm just not a fan, because I think in those like bigger airplanes, it's not you who would be doing it, but just like a second person. So just so you know, it's there pretty much. Okay, and with this, we can just go inside. We do have the newest DFB. And as you can see here, we have some blinking information. This means that this is still not set up. So I have already fueled up the plane. Okay. But there's also the passengers and the cargo that you have to set up. We will be doing instant boarding. Okay, no, not realistic, instant. Okay, you can also combine it with GSX to have all of those animations if you have GSX, so this is also compatible. But for us, let's do instant boarding, because either way this will be a pretty long video. There is a lot to this plane, right? Let me see if it's not too loud for you guys. No, should be fine, I think. Okay, and we can see boarding complete, and it has also automatically closed the doors, which kind of makes sense because we are in the middle of Alaska and it's pretty cold, so that's fine for me. So something that you need to watch out for is that the standard fuel setting is really low. You will run out of fuel in the air, so make sure to set it up correctly. If you are not sure how much like in total you have, it's good to look at this like standard fuel setting here. So here you can see 58% of the total. This is like a mod that gives you the 2020 view, right? But you can obviously also use the standard one here. Okay, we can already hear the passengers behind us, so let's talk about what we have in the cockpit. So here we have the checklists, but as I said, I prefer to use the other one. You can also hide them here. Obviously, you can click on it and you will have it here, right? Here you can hide the yoke. So let's do it. And let me just start with my checklist that I have shown you before, because there is a lot of stuff to do inside. I can also show you how it looks, right? So it's a pretty cozy cockpit. I really like this one. There's a lot of stuff that you can click on. Let me just try to find it. Lots and lots of animations. So like very high fidelity and like high amount of functions. So obviously now I don't remember how to hide this one. Let me just see. Normally not flying with a third person. Okay. And there is also lots and lots of stuff here. So if you want to simulate being the cabin crew, there is a whole panel that is working. You just need ground power, and then you can turn it on, and then you can manipulate all of the lights inside. Okay, so also pretty cool. This also works, so all of those call functions, and this also works. This is the music. Let me just show you. We don't have power. Okay, so we will see it later. And the cabin is also pretty nice with the new native 2024 version. You also have airline-specific covers here on those seats. Okay. This is generic because we do have this custom livery that fits Alaska, and I also just love it. Even have the Alaska connection written here. Okay. Okay, so let me take a look at my checklist then. So we are going up, as you can see, lots of stuff, and it's easy to miss something. I always forget where stuff is here. I was flying it yesterday, so I think I should know the details, okay? Battery, but it's still easy to forget. Okay, standby inverter should be armed, okay. Standby generator is armed. Generators 1 and 4 off, okay? They are here, they are off. Okay, APU generator on. Here. Okay. Emergency lights armed. Okay. Nav and logo lights. Sorry. They are here. So nav to high intensity, logo lights okay. The guy from Just Flight said that it's okay to use high intensity on the ground, so okay. So this is what we will be doing. Cabin emergency lights, they are here, armed. Okay. No smoking signs, they are also here, auto. Okay. And they do show in the passenger cabin. And entry into interior lights, if we want them. Okay, let's get them. And now the APU start. So we need this pump here, but it's only for backup because it's like sucking the fuel itself. Okay, APU switch start. Oh, okay, now I remember because it's APU generator here. Okay, we have already started it. And verify that the power from the APU is available. It is available. Okay. Yaw damper master 1 and 2 on pretty much all of the masters. They are on the top here. Okay. Brake fans to auto. Okay. Here, anti-skid to on. So here. Lift spoilers yellow and green. Here. AC pump and PTU, auto and on. So AC pump is here and PTU is here. You also need this AC pump on to raise the stairs. In this case, I think the tablet has done it for us. Not sure how this works, but if you want to do it manually, you can lower them without having pressure, but you can raise them only with pressure. Okay. Center tank transfer pump. We don't have any fuel in the center tank, but still, let's do it. Outer inner fuel pumps, all on. Okay. Okay. Air conditioning and fans. Recirc. Do we want fresh? No, let's do recirc because it's pretty cold. And let me take a look. Cabin air fresh. Oh, they want fresh, so let's do fresh. Okay, packs 1 and 2 on. APU are on, so this is pretty much APU bleed. And set cruise altitude. So we will be cruising at 20,000. You have it here. Okay. So now, let me take a look. So flight directors on. So this one, nice clunky sound. Okay. Okay, nav radios. So on, and here I never remember if it's on by default, but it's not obvious. You have to click here. And I think now it's on. We will then later check it out with like a frequency. Or actually we can do it now. So let me just tune in our VOR 1086. Okay. So 108 is okay. It's 1086. It's preparing, right? And we have the reading here. So let me try it with this one, 1086. So I never remember if it's on by default. Okay, so it wasn't on. We had to click this thingy here. Okay, so I do remember something correctly. Okay. Pre-select and arm. The cruising altitude, so as I said, 20,000. And arm. Okay. Heading set. So our heading will be 180. So this is here. Oy. There is also a hidden click spot here, where you can set it when you are on the runway, right? Or in the air, whatever. Okay, and actually our course is also 180. Okay, nice. Okay, let me just see. We will be using radio navigation, so we stay on nav. So this is correct. Altimeter. So QNH is 1014. So let me just set it up. Okay. Standby altimeters, no. Okay, let's go over to the TMS. So this is kind of our like primitive auto throttle that we have here. So let me just power it on. Let's run the test. There are lots and lots and lots of tests, but we will be not running all of them because it would take forever. This is actually already set to the correct temperature. It's really -11. You can see it here. Okay, so this is fine. Okay, so we need the takeoff mode, and outside temperature is already set. TGT set to 840. Okay, and it's set. Okay, takeoff data V speeds. So this is here. We will be starting with 18 degrees flaps. So if you click on it, it will set everything for us, all of the bugs. Okay, TMS off. We will just, it can interfere with the engine startup, right? So we have only set it up. We will turn it off and then turn it back on. Thrust levers are cut off. They are. Yaw damper on. Okay, so let me, I just need to work on those cameras. Okay, either way. Yaw damper on. And transponder to standby, it's in standby. Okay. Let's go to the next page. Engine start. Okay, so parking brake is on, and we can actually get rid of the chocks here. Okay, let me take a look outside. Okay, nice. We will not be pushing back because it's a stand where we can like easily vacate, right? Okay, so let me take a look. Beacon on. Okay, packs off. So to get some more power. APU air off. Okay, engine anti-ice, and this is something that is like unique to this plane. You need it for startup. Okay. Let me just see. Okay, engine start power to norm, and this is here, and it's set to norm because we are not using the ground power unit to start. Okay. Engine start master switch on, and we will be starting 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. And as we have selected the right engine, we just click on start. Okay. And now let's look here. 10% and 1 is enough. Okay. Yeah, so the startup isn't anything dramatic. It's called the Whisper Jet, right? And there is a reason for it. So it's pretty silent. Okay, and we can see the light went off. So this means we can start the next one. Look. Okay, here and here. Okay, another one. Let's wait for 10. And we have another one. So another indicator that you can start the next one is that those will come off, right? It always takes a lot of time to start this plane. I was flying it with self-loading cargo, which is like a plugin, a paid plugin, kind of simulating passenger operations, which is also pretty cool, and I will pretty much possibly come back to it. I will check how it works in 2024. But there, it was too long, like for this program. It was waiting forever for the engine start, and it was getting annoyed. Okay, so we are at 10. Too much talking, not enough starting, right? Can actually use the time to already tune in our next VOR. So the next VOR will be 116.2. Okay. Okay. Okay, and the last one. Okay, it's alive. Let's just wait for this one to extinguish. Let me make sure I have recording on. It is. Okay, and it's fine. Okay, so let's continue with the checklist. Engine pumps 2 and 3 on. So here on. PTO on, it is on. Okay. AC pump to auto, it is on auto. Generator engine 1 and 3, I'm always forgetting where those are. So they are here. Okay. So we have the generators. Engine start master switch to off. Here. Okay. This one to off. Engine ITI is only when required. It's pretty cold, so let's keep it on. Ice detector switch is guarded. Okay, but it's here. All of the heaters. Okay, they are on. Fasten seatbelt sign. Yes, please. Air conditioning fans as required, so we do have this standard setting. I think it will stay like this one. Cabin air to recirc. Okay. Packs 1 and 2 on. Okay. APU are on. Okay. Elevator trim. It is here, right? But you set it by clicking this GC here. It's actually not making any sound and nothing blinks, so You just need to remember that you are doing it, pretty much. Okay, and let me now see, and TMS on and takeoff. Okay, so power on and set to takeoff. Okay, TMS is actually thrust modulation system. As I said, it's kind of like a primitive auto throttle, and it works by blocking the thrust setting when you are close to the one that is desired, right? So here 89.7 is desired, so if you come with the throttle close to it, then it will block kind of the power setting at this setting, but you need to be close. And those triangles are showing you when you are not close enough, okay? So when you are close and it will catch this setting, then those triangles will turn off. Okay, so transponder standby, it is weather radar to standby, so we do have a functioning one. Let's warm it up. Taxi lights to on. Taxi lights are actually the landing lights, but just going down. And runway exit lights, why not? Okay. Nice. We can even hear something, so we can close this one. And we can slowly go to our runway now. Yeah, I think I will have to set up my pedals again, because they are kind of twitchy. Either way, let's start the taxi phase. Was actually not on the checklist. Oh, there's another item that is not on the checklist. Let me just set it up before I forget. So in standard option, this is in the ground setting, which means it turns off some of the alerts that you might get, right? So we actually want it in the middle setting, okay, because this is the standard setting. Either way, we would not get some alerts. In this checklist from JD, there's like a simplified section and a full section, so I would just assume it's probably in the full section. But like even the simplified one takes a lot of time until you are ready for takeoff. Okay, we can hide this one here. I'm just so happy to have this plane back. And just make sure, because it's strange here. I'm always forgetting which one turn it is. I think it's here. The snow isn't exactly making it easier here. And so when it comes to Fairbanks, this is actually a payware airport, but for many years I just had like a free one, and it was also pretty good. So neither the free one nor the payware one are like especially good when it comes like to the detail level and to the quality of the assets. But this airport itself, it's just like totally cool and very unique when it comes to the character of this airport. So I will just show you in a second. Okay, let me first show you how the airport looks like, right? So we will be using this shorter one that's normally only used for GA, but the short version of the 146 can totally like start from runways around 4,000, right? So we should be fine here, especially since it's cold, so we will have more power available. But in general, it's kind of divided into two parts, and there are those lakes in between, which is totally unique, and I will just show you the detail in a second. Okay. You just accelerate, and here you can see those like funny houses. Okay. This is the main terminal, but as I said, like by today's standards, it's nothing special. But still, I really like having this airport just because of the great location, like in the middle of Alaska, so you can do lots and lots of flights, and because of the like unique character of it. Here you can see, I'm not sure if those are DC-6s or DC-9s. Either way, a lot of like classic aircraft, some detail, some companies. So I mean, it's like totally fine, right? Just nothing special when it comes to the quality, but like especially this one. But like other than this one, which is like obviously something that they have missed, I guess, all of the rest is pretty okay, right? There is nothing backed. It's totally fine. If you are like considering purchasing something here in this area, then this is the one with the best location, right? And as I said, with those like lakes in the center and those like small houses, it's pretty cool. And the view is also great, as you can see. Okay, and this one, showcase reset position. Okay, let's go inside and let's do the last part of the checklist. Today is checklist day. Before takeoff, anti-ice, yes. Flaps. So as I said, they take a lot of time. Oops, let me check if it's not too loud. No, it shouldn't be. So they are moving and moving and moving. So you need to watch out because it takes a lot of time to like extend them and retract them. And also when you are flying and extending them, there is like a great unique sound that was very nicely simulated by Just Fly. Okay, let's right-click this one. Oh, wait a second. Was the cargo not loaded? Why is it? Start deboarding. Did I mess it up? Oh, come on, it was working so nicely before. Maybe because I had the stairs extended and it needs them like Yeah, always something. Come on. Okay, so let me try it again. Okay, boarding complete. That's fine. So I might have missed it, sorry. Either way. So is this the parking brake? Yeah. Okay. There is also flight recorder off. The flight recorder is actually, wait a second, you can hide it some. Yeah. And I was never turning it on, actually. Let me just see. I don't even know how it's done. But like it has disappeared last time, so let's hope it will also disappear. I was watching the part when they said how to set it up, but I didn't pay attention because I have never done it when flying it, but I don't remember having the message here. I hope it will just disappear. Okay, either way. Flaps are set, trim is set, TMS on and on takeoff, okay. Altimeters are set, flight controls, free movement. Okay, so let's go back this up. Okay, let me see outside. Okay, so this is fine. There is a way to block the controls by clicking here. So if you are clicking a lot around, you might click it by mistake. So just so you know. I actually would like to have the radio. Okay. Air brakes verify in. They are in. Okay. And config button. And I hope this will work now, because last time I couldn't find what was wrong, right? I was following the tutorial video and like the checklist and couldn't find why it's giving me a config warning. So we need to get rid of this one, because this will give you a config warning. And now let's... Oh, now it works. Okay, so I think I know what it was the last time. It was this button, because it was in the ground setting that turns off some of the alerts. Okay. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so next transponder. PARA. Ugh, so small. Yeah. Okay, here. Weather radar to on. Okay. Landing lights to on. Strobe lights to on. Sadly, they are up here. Okay. And let me just do a quick sweep of everything that we have here. If there is nothing, because sadly, if you have like a checklist where you cannot like mark it that you have done it, it's easy to just like omit one point. So pretty much everything, almost everything should be on. We can get the galley power here, this is fine. Continuous ignition is not needed. This is okay. Okay. I think I might have missed engine air. Oh no, because it's bleed engine air is off by default, because it needs every part of the engine power it can get. So this is why we are taking bleed from APU and are starting with APU. Okay, so this is correct. Okay, so let me just see. Yeah, let's move to the runway then. Yeah, I'm not sure about this light placement here. I mean, those are the flat ones, so it's okay that they are here, but they are like uneven. Okay, and before we start, let's talk about the climb, which is the most complicated part of this one. So also JD's checklist is a little bit different than like the tutorial video. So in general, what we'll be doing is we will be going up to 1500, then changing to MCT, okay? And then accelerating to this speed, which is the flap retraction speed, then accelerate to 2100 and above 10,000 to 250. First to 210 and then to 250, okay? And I hope it will work out. For the first time I have bound sync. Here you can see sync, and it actually allows you to disable the autopilot for a second just to set a different climb attitude. And then if you let it go, then the autopilot will come back on. And this is pretty much the best way to climb. But it's the first time I have set it up, so let's hope I will not mess it up. Okay. And let me just see, not too loud. Okay. So we can start first to 55, just to see if everything is fine.
TMS sets takeoff.
Okay. And then we will be looking at the TNS. We are still on the brakes. For those to disappear.
Cabin is secure.
This means TNS has taken over and is like blocking the setting in the correct setting. Sadly for me it's not always working, like for a moment it disappears but then it's back on,
Power
right?
set N1 achieved.
Yeah. Let's maybe do it like this, but let's start.
Speed alive, both sides. $80 knots cross-checked. V1, rotate. V2, positive rate of climb, gear up. The FTO, safe height speed, select flaps.
Okay, and now to 210 we can turn on the AP. Heading mode, and now I'm using sync mode to lower the nose a little bit because I want more speed. I want 210. And the gauge is so small that it's hard to see. Yeah, I think it's here. And IAS mode, so we will be climbing with this speed. Actually, as you can see, it is moving a lot. So last time I was doing it with like vertical speed, and it was holding it like in a more stable way, right, with less oscillations. So maybe that's the way. Either way, it seems to be fine. And now you can see all of them have those triangles. This is because we are in MCT mode. And I think in MCT mode the logic is a little bit different. Let me just see, 86, 85, because we are very close to the desired settings. Okay, here is a click spot for heading. So here where I'm clicking, you can center the heading back. In our case, we want to go back on course, right? So we will use this one. It's cold and we will be entering the clouds in a second, so we can get some more anti-ice, wing anti-ice, okay? And we can go over to engine air, okay? APU off, and APU off. Okay, all fine. And we can see here to our next VOR we have 150 knots, right? So still a lot of time to play around with stuff. Let me make sure the altitude is armed. It is. Okay, and we are over 10,000. So we don't need the lights. And we will accelerate to 250. And I will be using the sync function for it. Okay, so I'm pressing the sync button, lowering the nose. Seems to take forever. Okay, and we turn it back on, right, and it should hold the indicated airspeed of 250. Okay, and this is the VOR localizer mode, so like the normal nav mode that should capture this, how's it called, VOR radio, right? Okay, and we are nicely climbing. Whew. It's always so much work of this climb. Okay, and let's do the checklist now. Okay, so TNS mode, sync or MCT. We are in MCT, so this is fine. Gear is up. Okay, flaps are up. Transponder TA array is fine. Anti-ice we have on. Engine air we have on. APU air we have off. APU we have off. And also the runway lights we don't need. And here those pumps are also not needed during the flight. So the AC pump goes to off, and the PTU. You will need to remember to turn them back on during the descent or during the approach. Okay, so here you can see some wonderful views, and still we are kind of climbing. It's not a very powerful plane. It's actually pretty weak despite having 4 engines. Okay, we can center the heading back. We can go on heading for a second to just change for the next VOR. So, like this. Okay. And the signal will not be very strong, but we should be fine. We are pretty high up. Okay. And now, once again, VL is like VOR or localizer. Ooh, that's a pretty... Wait a second, I need to make sure I haven't messed something up. Let me double check. 116.2, 116.2, okay, 116.2. So those should be the same. Yeah, it should be fine. Why is it doing such a sharp turn? Okay. Strange stuff happening. I think the sync function might have messed it up. Let me just make sure. Okay, so we want 250. Yeah, obviously when I was testing it, it was working perfectly. So let me try again. Come on, guys, work, because I want to show you the coffee maker in the back. Okay, so we are on course, 250 more or less. Okay, so we want to keep this indicated airspeed, and we want to follow this radio. Did I mess up the autopilot by using sync? I don't think so. Okay, let's just give him some time. Maybe just the retro autopilot that got lost. I don't think so, it's just following. Okay, let me just center it and see what it does. Okay, let's reset it. Yeah, I know. Okay, now it works. Is it? Okay, let's just observe. Yes, so I think by using the sync function, I have messed up the autopilot for some reason. So this is something that I will have to study, because as I said, before I was not using sync, despite sync being the best option during this climb, right? Because you can set the pitch pretty much yourself. So either way, you know, if you mess it up, just restart autopilot here. Okay, and we still have 116 knots to go. Let me make sure the altitude is armed. The altitude is armed, it is. Okay, so I can show you some details. Let me double check if it's not too loud. It's kind of loud-ish, so let me reduce the volume. And let me go to the back and show you some stuff. Obviously, you can play around with stuff like this. Can I now take it off? Yeah, okay, nice. There is also oxygen modeled, right? If you will have a pressurization failure. This, as I said, is for the cabin crew. And they have also modeled that passengers might need something from the cruise, so sometimes you might see stuff illuminating here. Okay? You can make us a coffee. So, hot water, please. Yeah, crazy. Okay, and here we have this tune that we can play. And you can also upload your own tunes if you prefer to. Also pretty cool. Okay. Some views. Yeah, I just love flying over Alaska. And it's actually better than Norway. I mean, in real life they are very similar, right? But here the textures are just better. It's like a similar character of the terrain, right? But the quality of the ground textures is better. Okay. Okay. Oh, obviously 2992. Okay. We can center the heading pack here. Okay, and now when we went over to cruise, we are changing to TGT. But first, let me set a lower target temperature, right? And it's going back to the temperature for cruise. Just so we don't overspeed. And it's like, it's not easy to say what the temperature is. I remember in 2020 when I was flying it a lot, I kind of understood what will be fine without overspeeding. But sadly here I don't remember anymore. And the guides that I was checking were also not providing a specific temperature. So one thing that you need to watch out here is that if you change it too much, by a too high value, this one will turn off. So you have to change it and then turn it back on. Okay? So I do remember that I was like surprised sometimes when it was doing it. Heavy icing weather. I do remember that like icing was also modeled on the outside, right? Okay, so not so silent. And let me now show you what we will be doing after we arrive at this VOR. Okay, so this is here. So this is Fairbanks, right? We are going south to this one. And then we will be joining the approach to Anchorage. But sadly, I was checking and there is no good arrival that would be radio navigation based. So I have just created this point here manually to give us a nice approach into the airport. Okay, so here you can see it's pretty easy with SkyVector. You're just dragging wherever you need it to, right? And then if you click here, it will just create the point for you. Okay, so this is the active VOR that we are flying to, and we will want to join the ILS later. So let's take a look. I should have it here. Okay, so this is the ILS, 109.9. So let me go back to the sim. 109.9. and here in the second one. Okay, let's double check 109.9. Okay, and we will just join this approach here. Okay, we can hide this one. Let's check if there is some bad weather actually below us. No, nothing. You also get a small virtual map. Let me just show you. Can I? Yeah, this is too much. Yeah, nothing close to us as far as I can see. Because normally it's showing like the close airports, but here I cannot see anymore. Normally I'm just using the weather radar. Okay. As I said, UNS-1 also nicely modeled. If you prefer to use this one, you can. This is also nice because you can overheat the brakes, right? So let me just start this system. Okay, we can see the brakes are pretty cold, right? But then during the landing they can get pretty hot. It seems like I can increase the engine temperature a little bit, the one that it will be holding. So let's go up, and we can see it goes up. And we will just monitor if we are not getting too fast. Oops. At the same time, we can tune in the 80s. Whoa, the weather is really bad. The 80s for Anchorage, 135.5. Okay. And let's wait till we are in range. Yeah, I don't remember if there is headphone simulation inbuilt here. I do vaguely remember reading something about it, but I'm not sure anymore. Either way we can use the one that is inbuilt into the sim, right? So let me do it, because it's getting pretty loud inside. Here, headphone simulation. Okay. Actually, we can search this patch document, right? Let me just get, okay, overhead panel. No. Strange, I do remember that there was something, but like maybe I'm just wrong. Okay guys, so we still have some time to go, right? So I guess we will just jump to the moment where we will be start the descent. Okay guys, so we are back and we will be starting our descent soon. Let me just show you the standard view. Oops. Okay. And when it comes to the cruise setting, in the end, this one was fine, okay? So I was talking about not being sure and not remembering which one should be fine for what is happening now, but it seems like we are close to the limit with it. Obviously, if we would raise it a little bit, it would go up, right? Okay, with this one, let me go back on our final radial, and we'll want to descend to 2000 feet. We have 2000 set up, okay? Let me just make sure it will stabilize on the heading that we need here. And I will try to use this sync button again to get a vertical speed of minus 2000. But before that, we will change to descent mode. Okay. Okay, so first let's stabilize on this one because it will be easier. If this will be the only thing that we will have to think about. Because if I use the sync function, both lateral and vertical modes will be offline, right? So it might be harder for him to catch the radial then. Either way, we can decelerate. According to this one, we need 67%, and this is dynamic. So for example, now we have a lot of anti-icing on, so this is higher. Because this is the minimum power that the engines need to support all of the functions that are needed, right? So normally if anti-ice would be off, this would be 60% instead of 67. Okay, let me just try to use sync now. I hope we won't mess something up again. Okay. The vertical speed, and I hope now it's fine because it looks like it's following it, but before that, after using sync, it also was like messed up, right? And we will just need to make sure that we will not overspeed, but we do have the air brakes, right? The one on the tail. We are descending a little bit steeper than I wanted to, so let's just correct it. Sync, bring it to 2000 and let it go. Hopefully it works now. Okay, let's enter the heading back. And let's read the checklist for descent. Descent mode is okay. Cabin pressurization, this is something that I often recommend in planes, but I didn't see it as a problem when not doing it, like going back with the height back. But I'm thinking that the plane still knows that you are descending and will reduce it, so I never really knew why this is important, right? Because either way, it will change like the pressure inside. Okay. I guess it's just that we are showing him like the minimum, right? Okay, either way, cabin pressurization anti-ice is on, below 10,000 feet landing lights, so we are not below 10,000 feet. Okay, so we can proceed. So next step is obviously like reducing speed to 250 at 10,000, right? Let me just check if everything is fine. This is fine, this is fine. We still haven't picked up the localizer yet, but we still have time, so this will be here. It's here and here. Let me see. We are expecting to pick it up after 60 nautical miles. So still 40 miles here to go. Well, nice soup here. Yeah. Good that we have like full anti-icing on board. And I just loved how this is modeled, right? That depending on what you have on, it's calculating like a different minimum and one for the engines to be able to support it. If you will go down too much, here there will be like an alert that it's not possible to support like the anti-icing. Actually, we can just increase it a little bit. Yeah. Okay, and it seems like we are fine. Okay, if you don't want to use the sync function to descend, you also have this like standard. Ooh, let me do something with that. Yeah, here you can just click up or down, like in many like retro planes. And as this will take some additional time, I think we can see each other once we have joined the approach. So, we are finally out of the soup, and here is Anchorage already. So let's just make sure that we will do all of the items from our checklist. And this just looks amazing. Okay, let us go inside. Here we can also see it on the map. We are going down here, and here is Anchorage. Okay. So, landing lights on. They are on.
2500.
Okay, passenger signs. Okay, so we didn't release the passengers at all. Okay, fine. Okay, AC pump, auto and PTU to on. Let me just make sure that we will catch our altitude and not run into the ground. Okay. Okay, and we are at 2000, which is nice. Okay, so next thing is APU on. Okay. It's starting, nice. Then APU air on. Let's wait for it to stabilize. I just need to take a look. We can use the brake, because we are pretty fast. Okay, APU air is on, and engine air is off, because we need all of the power for the engines. Okay, what's up? No, it's fine. Okay, and here, altimeters I have already set up. Okay.
Speed checked below 205. Select flaps 18.
Exactly what I have done. We have the localizer alive now. Okay, so let's set up the course for the localizer 074.
Speed check below 205. Select gear down.
Oops, I actually wanted this one. Okay. Too many things at once. So we are changing to this one. Okay, and now we have the localizer. Okay, we will go over this island here. Yeah, the views are just amazing. We don't need the gear yet. We will probably extend it somewhere above the island here. Okay, either way. Altimeter set, TMS to sync. Okay, this at sync. Landing lights verify on. Okay. Okay, so we will be doing a flaps 33 landing. So let's just set up, here we have the landing flaps, and 33, it's like the standard setting. Okay, let me make sure we will not overshoot the localizer. The next step on the approach is 1600. Okay, let me make sure everything is fine here. We should be fine. Okay, slowly we can change our heading. So we will be joining the localizer in a more gentle way. So it's pretty much here. And we will be looking at the localizer. Can make it even more gentle. Is it moving? I think not yet. Yeah, this is just because, as I said, we have set up this radio navigation approach on our own, right? Sadly, all of the ones that are from this direction are already GPS based. Okay, it's alive. So, yeah, I mean, not yet. We might bust it a little bit, but we will see. The plane should be able to handle it nicely. Okay, nice. So now it will catch it. So we can go down to 1600. Vertical speed, sync. Oh, not down, up. Okay. Let's reduce the speed a little bit, and this should be nice and easy. Let me just show you the approach. So we are pretty much here somewhere, right? We will go over the island and land here. And this is like the step approach, right? I have turned off wing anti-ice because it's needed anymore. It's not needed anymore. Some nice lights. So let's talk about landing. So the unique thing about this one is that once you are over the threshold, you should deploy air brakes, because otherwise it will just float forever, right? Okay. So now we are at the right height. Yep. I wanted to say it, but like I have a great co-pilot. The decision height here is correct for the approach that we have. Just check what is here. I don't think we need engine anti-ice. And I can turn off a headphone simulation. Okay, it's pretty loud for me, but for you, I have reduced the volume. Let me make sure everything is fine. We can monitor the temperature of the brakes. Okay, we can go the next flap step. Okay, let's use the bags again. So landing flaps 33. Okay, because it adjusts it to the weight of the plane. And we are taking the left one, so we are right on track. Okay. Actually, I was always landing with 30, but like in the video that I have watched yesterday, they said that the standard setting is 33. So let's try that. I can already see you need lots and lots of power. Because we are still like not going down the glide slope. It's like pretty short, right? Let's make sure it's armed. This is fine, this is fine, this is fine. We will... Yeah, the co-pilot in this one is amazing. Okay, and now we are getting a little bit too fast. Yeah, I just love this view here, going into Anchorage, especially if there is like cloud cover above. Looks pretty epic. Okay, and I do have a keybind for this one, because you will need it. Okay, let me take a look at the checklist, but it seems like we have done everything. And let's make sure we have the gear. Yeah, you have the flaps. Nice. Yeah, there is some wind.
Cabin is secure.
And just so you know, all of those sounds from the cabin crew and stuff are inbuilt into the plane, right? It's not some additional crew plugins.
500.
Okay, we are getting a little bit slow, so let me just... And I will probably get rid of the autopilot.
Autopilot disconnected.
Plus 100. Minimums. Minimums.
Continue. Air brakes.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Ground idle.
Okay.
Brake pressure seen. 80 knots. 60 knots.
And I think we will be vacating here. Yeah, this view, wow, love it. Okay, here we have DC freeze, I think. Okay, let me just turn on the brake and let's see what the checklist says. So we don't need the strobe lights. Ugh, not very convenient. We should switch to taxi lights, so from up to down. Runway exit lights is required. I think we have short way. Not needed. Anti-icing, anti-ignition. Oh, sorry. Okay. Anti-icing and ignition. No, because we have it all off apart from the heaters. TMS off. Okay. Weather radar off. Ooh. Air brakes and spoilers in. Okay, we can also get the flaps in, flaps up, transponder standby. Okay, and the temperature of the brakes is pretty okay, 1 to 2. Okay, so let's find a place to park. Do we want the big terminal? Nah, we are just a small local airline, so let's go to the right. Which one do I want? Alaska Airlines. I guess maybe we can park here. You can hear the music. This is also automatic. You can turn off all of those like crew activities. Yeah, great music. Okay, and let's take a look at the checklist then. Parking brakes set, taxi lights off. Off, off, oops. Oops. Okay, hydraulic pumps all off. But this will not allow you to lower the stairs, right? Let's do it like they want. Okay, generators here off. Soft reset. Okay. Fuel pumps off, except for this one that states for the APU. Heaters off. Okay. Ice detection off. Okay. Thrust levers cut off. They are. Fasten seat belts off. Oh, cut off like in cut off and not in idle. Sorry. So, here. Yep. And beacon off. Okay. Still, I want this one on, because I want to lower the stairs for you guys. Okay. Home button, aircraft. As I said, if you have GSX, the whole profile is set up, right? So you will have those vehicles doing it. This music, seriously. Okay. Oops, too fast. So, let's sum up. An amazing plane, really. Pretty much the only downside that I can see is that some of the outside elements already feel a little bit like retro, right? Low res. But it's not like you as a pilot will be coming so close. I mean, if you want to do the co-pilot walk around, I guess, then yes. But still, during the flight, it's not a problem at all. And everything is amazing. So some things I haven't shown, there are like failures, there's state saving. I just also love like the co-pilot with all of the messages from the co-pilot, which is like totally unique and really helps you flying the plane, apart from being just like very immersive. I don't know. It was one of my favorite planes, like in the top 3, I think, and it will stay like this one. Also, I wanted to do a shout out to the maker of the livery that you can see. Because actually it was not working in 2024, but I have like written him on Flight Sim TO, and the reaction was like immediate. Pretty much he has fixed it in, I don't know, 20 minutes. And without this, we wouldn't have this great livery that fits Alaska so well. So thank you very much, mate. And I will obviously like link the livery in the description. And with this, thank you guys very much for watching. I think you had fun, and if you are considering getting like a good regional airliner, I guess, then this one is perfect. There are also options for cargo, if you prefer to fly cargo. So this is also covered, 3 different sizes. And I think also like the military variant with some additional like flares and stuff. I'm not sure. But it's just like amazing. I'm amazed every time I'm flying it, and besides it's being just like a very good plane, I just really like the atmosphere in it and just how it looks. So it's like true love from my side. So I'm super happy that it's back in 2024. I mean, it's back in the flight simulator that I'm flying. Okay, so to not prolong it, once again, thank you very much, and see you guys.